Right, let's return to our top story this hour, and that is the reopening between North and South Korea of a hotline that hasn't been used in almost 2 years. Let's speak to Sophie Long, who joins us now from Seoul. Presumably, well, it seems a significant development. Sophie, just explain how this hotline works. I mean, are we talking about a red telephone on both sides of the border?
I don't quite know what colour it is, Tim, but the breaking news in the last couple of minutes, actually, is that North and South Korea have now had their first direct telephone conversation for the first time in nearly 2 years. In the last few minutes, we got a statement, a text message from the Unification Ministry here in South Korea saying that at 3:30 South Korean time, there's half an hour's time difference, they received a call from the North and they are now checking the line and the signal. So this is a hotline that was once in operation. It's a Red Cross run line. It was been in operation since 1971, but it was shut down in February of 2016, so nearly 2 years ago. Now, this came after North Korea carried out its 4th nuclear test. In response, South Korea shut down a joint industrial complex that the two countries ran together just over the border in North Korea. And in retaliation to that, North Korea ordered that all lines of direct communication be shut down. I'm told there were actually 33 lines of communication in operation at one point. Now, today, in the last few minutes, one of those lines has reopened.
And this is for talks about potentially sending athletes to the Winter Olympics. But do we think there are any other conditions that the North might associate with any athletes sent to take part in the Winter Olympics?
Yeah, you're right. This is the latest step, really, in talks that could potentially take place. Now, this all started on New Year's Day when the North Korean leader made his New Year's message. He, in that speech, gave an indication that he was open to dialogue with the South. The South responded by welcoming that and offered high-level talks on Tuesday, the 9th of January. That was yesterday. We've been waiting for a response from Pyongyang. This morning, it was broadcast on North Korean state media that they would open this hotline. That has now happened. So you might assume that this line of communication will now be used to decide whether, if and when, those talks, the high-level talks, will take place.
Okay,
now, the offer from South Korea...
So, sorry to cut across. Just very briefly, Sophie, I mean, President Moon, South Korean president, son of North Korean refugees, he's been encouraging or pushing for dialogue. But whilst he's doing that, the rhetoric between President Trump and Kim Jong-un intensifies.
Well, I think you're referring to a text from President Donald Trump this morning in which he responded to, during Kim Jong-un's New Year's speech, he talked about how he was a nuclear state and he had a button on his desk at all times. Today, Donald Trump tweeted saying he's got a button and it's bigger than yours and it works, that type of thing. So probably there's been no reaction to that in South Korea or North Korea at all. But in the meantime, these channels of communication seem to be opening gradually between North and South Korea. So that's what the focus is on here.
OK, Sophie, thank you very much indeed. Well, President Trump has threatened to withhold financial aid to the Palestinians. He made the threat on Twitter, saying it was because the Palestinians were no longer willing to talk peace. Last month, the Palestinian president said US peace plans were unacceptable following Mr. Trump's decision to recognise Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Donald Trump has also, again, targeted North Korea, as we've just heard on Twitter, as our correspondent Peter Bowes explains in a bit more detail.
Another Twitter tirade by Donald Trump. The president questions why the US should continue to provide aid to countries that show no respect in return and don't reciprocate. On the Middle East, he tweets that the status of Jerusalem, which the US now recognises as the capital of Israel, will no longer be part of future negotiations. It's not only Pakistan that we pay billions of dollars to for nothing, but also many other countries and others. As an example, we pay the Palestinians hundreds of millions of dollars a year and get no appreciation or respect. They don't even want to negotiate a long overdue peace treaty with Israel. We've taken Jerusalem, the toughest part of the negotiation, off the table, but Israel, for that, would have had to pay more. But with the Palestinians no longer willing to talk peace, why should we make any of these massive future payments to them? The US Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, confirmed that US aid to the Palestinians was in jeopardy.
We very much still want to have a peace process. Nothing changes with that. The Palestinians now have to show their will that they want to come to the table. As of now, they're not coming to the table, but they ask for aid. We're not giving the aid. We're going to make sure that they come to the table, and we want to move forward with the peace process.
In another tweet, the president turns his attention back to North Korea, apparently responding to a New Year message from Kim Jong-un in which he said the country's nuclear weapons could reach anywhere in the US. Mr. Trump tweets, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un just stated that the nuclear button is on his desk at all times. Will someone from his depleted and food-starved regime please inform him that I too have a nuclear button, but it is a much bigger and more powerful one than his, and my button works. It marks a new tone and new level of rhetoric in the nuclear crisis with North Korea. Peter Bowes, BBC News.